Anyone else have like a weird thing that they do like when they're really nervous? Mine, I've noticed, I burp really bad. Like I have to burp all the time. The left side of my body sweats more. I'm not kidding. Left titty, left armpit, majority of the time. Don't know why. I don't know what's going on there. I'm not going to investigate that. But do you guys have anything weird going on like that? Anyways, hi everyone, it's Isabella here and welcome back to the channel. So today's video, it is early in the morning, you guys. I have been dying to talk about this topic and I know we love hair, right? Now, what if I were to tell you that we have a situation on our hands on the internet that somebody is charging $4,000 for absolute shit service in the hair industry? We are going to talk about Hair by Chrissy, a very viral moment that's happening right now, and a lot of details I think people are not acknowledging when it comes to this situation. I'm talking someone who paid $4,000, yes, you heard me, $4,000 to get their hair done, and they weren't even satisfied with the service, which I'm telling you right now, if someone charged me $4,000 for my hair, you better eat it from the back, okay? You better do something, because like that's crazy. But in general, let's talk about the Hair by Chrissy situation and the viral moment that is leading to this hair salon getting called out. So before I hop into today's video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell button down below so you'll be notified of every single video I post. Real quickly, I do want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video. I'm someone who struggles with anxiety, depression, PMDD, and my mental health is a really big priority to me. So I'm someone who sees a therapist, especially with my seasonal depression, which is a really big thing that's been kind of, gonna be real with y'all, kicking up more recently. And overall, it's really important to get help when you need it. And that's why I want to talk about growth therapy. Growth therapy is a platform where you can have access to a therapist. They strive to fit into the idea of making therapy easier to access, more affordable, and fitting into your everyday life. So a couple reasons why growth therapy is really amazing is because one, you can find a therapist that fits you through filtering through identity, gender, language, faith, and so much more. You can get an appointment in as little as 2 days, which is really great. They also offer options for virtual and in-person visits. So fun fact about my therapy, I've never met a therapist in real life. No, I've actually always done virtual appointments. And the very important part, they have over 19,000 licensed and vetted providers that you can choose from. If your original choice is really just, you're not connecting with that person, you can easily switch. They work with over 100 insurance companies. Sessions can cost around $21 with insurance and sometimes as little as $0 depending on your plan. Couple additional things that I think are very important when it comes to this platform is this is a pay per session. You're not doing a subscription plan. You know exactly who you're meeting. You get detailed credentials and information all about the therapist you are going to see. And they can connect you with licensed psychiatrists if you are also looking for medication treatment. They have over 1 million users and an amazing rating on Trustpilot. So if you guys want to get started on growth therapy today, you guys can scan the QR code or get the link in the description below and pinned comment to get started. Thank you so much to Growth Therapy for partnering with me on today's video and being a part of the process of advocating for taking care of your mental health. And now let's get into it. So we are going to be starting off with who is Hair by Chrissy. So Hair by Chrissy also is the Habit Salon. I believe I'm saying that correctly. And this is a salon that has been around for quite some time now. Now, why this salon is so prominent actually is because it's been predominantly known for influencers. That's not the issue that I have necessarily, is the idea of like a salon that is loved by influencers, that is comfortable with people like filming like transition videos before and afters, right? That is totally fine. I mean, I remember when I first like bleached my hair platinum blonde, it was butt ugly, by the way, don't ask for photos. I remember asking and they were allowing me to vlog it. And they have had some videos that have popped up for beautiful hair. I mean, for example, this creator who has red hair, oh my God, stunning, right? So a lot of people have seen this essentially Instagramified, if that's even a word, or a TikTokified salon that is blown up because influencers and many people just simply enjoy their work and want to support them. Now, Hair by Chrissy is a stylist who has actually been caught in hot water before for some controversies, like allegedly frying people's hair off and charging outlandish prices. She actually was a salon owner and just an artist in general that I was wanting to do a deep dive on anyways. So like, this is crazy weird timing that we're already having this happen right now. Now, what really happened though to spark this controversy up and kind of reignite the flames of people calling her, instead of Hair by Chrissy, Hair by Crispy, sorry, was this one content creator who pulled, I think, over 31 million views talking about her experience. So let's react to this.
First, get your hair done. It's a little bit overwhelming because everyone's kind of grabbing your hair everywhere. There's like 10 people around you, and Chrissy's nowhere to be found. I don't know. Obviously, she has a lot of followers and a lot of people are coming to get their hair done by her, but it was a little bit disappointing to like pay the price that I did for the service. I think she might have touched my hair for 60 seconds. I'm being so genuinely honest with you. And here's the receipt.
Okay, this genuinely makes me want to jump and not for joy. To give a little bit of a basis of what's going on here. Hair by Chrissy. Some people go to the salon to have their hair done by Chrissy. Now, realistically speaking, what I know when it comes to salon owners, not everyone is just going to be able to have access to like the salon owner or a specific artist unless they like specifically request them. I don't know if maybe during her booking process she was given the illusion that she was going to be working specifically with Chrissy, and maybe that was the illusion that she thought of, especially with that fucking heavy ass price tag, because she's trying to show like, hey, I'm not an influencer, I'm not famous, like I'm not somebody that's getting paid to talk about this, and this is what I thought going into this, and I feel like I wasn't getting the experience that I believed. Now I want to quickly, this is Chrissy service, almost $3,000. So coconut cream, whipped cream, then it's a 7 seconds detangler, a Milbon repair restorative shampoo, restorative treatment. Wait, what the why are they charging? That almost sounds like the entire price of the shampoo. I'll try and see if I can get screenshots of the actual prices of the products. But like, if they're charging for the full bottle, wouldn't they send that home with you? But additionally, why would you do that? That makes no sense. And then a repair serum totaling over $4,000. The fact that she even tipped 50 is generous enough. If you're charging $4,000, I better not tip for shit. One thing I want to point out here real quickly, I'm sorry, I'm so flabbergasted by this. I do not think any salon owner, which there's a couple we're going to be talking about here soon, should be charging $4,000 for a average everyday regular individual to walk into a salon. This is stupid. Now, I'm not going to blame this individual for wanting to spend the money. I get it. Maybe she really wanted to splurge. Maybe she wanted to do something like that. I think people like this who want to charge that much for a subpar service or for a service that isn't even a high intense level of luxury, that's stupid.
So that is just the price of Chrissy touching your hair. And when I tell you
the price of her phalanges running through your hair. Oh, that would set. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay.
She touched my hair for 60 seconds. I'm restating this because I don't think it's talked about enough. When you're not famous and you go to Chrissy, she doesn't actually spend time on your hair. You'll walk in, she touches your hair, asks you what you want, then she tells everyone what to do on your hair. But the problem is when you have 10 people pulling your hair every way and like dyeing your hair, they're all kind of on different pages. So I'm going to show you my inspo pic. I definitely don't think it met my expectations.
Oh yeah, hell no. Her roots are way too fucking dark. Her roots are close to mine. So you spend $4,000 and your roots are as dark as mine, yet you're wanting a light pastel, what's it called? What am I thinking of? Cream blonde. You need to be excellent if you're going to be doing some type of shit like this. Oh my, that's sad.
I didn't really notice a difference in the color from before. Like my roots are pretty still dark. I did ask for a shadow root like the photo, but I don't know, it just didn't meet my expectations how I was expecting it to with the price that I paid. But again, you're never 100% gonna be happy and it's never gonna 100% be perfect. So
I understand that, but I'm gonna also let y'all know if you're paying astronomical amounts, you need to be happy as fuck. You just do, okay? You should not be leaving there going, don't really like this. You should be able to sit down and go, I love this, or talk to the individual and say, hey, this is not the same as the inspo photos. They need to be so on their game, and if something is wrong, they need to be willing to fix it. $4,000. To me, this is screaming scam. This is just screaming Instagram salon. How the hell do you run a business like this and you expect no one was gonna say anything? You didn't think anyone was gonna get brave enough and say, hey, Hair by Chrissy screwed my hair and is not fulfilling promises? And I don't care. She shouldn't have to have her hair fried for her story to still be valid.
How you really lay it out in this situation, I guess. I feel like I'm just more upset about the fact that I was like, oh, I'm gonna go get my hair done by Chrissy, and it wasn't even Chrissy who did my hair. She spent less than 60 seconds on my hair. Overwhelming, and when I tell you there's so many famous people in there, there was 3 girls filming a TikTok, and then there was other people getting the makeup done. When I was trying to leave, there was literally a girl filming a TikTok in front of the door, and I couldn't even get out for 2 minutes because she was just filming a TikTok. So I feel it was very just TikTok land and very I don't know. It's so cute. I think it's so cute. But it definitely wasn't my cup of tea because I just felt overwhelmed and there was a lot going on and there was 20 people grabbing my hair. Like, they curled my hair in like a minute because everyone had a curler. Like, 10 girls around me had.
I'm really needing some hairstylists to pipe up in the comment section. To me, that almost sounds really like, that doesn't sound consistent. That sounds like a hot mess waiting to happen. Like, I wouldn't assume that one person's head of hair should be like a massive team effort like this unless there's some major changes being made. So that just feels very like weird. Also, it feels kind of odd to me because it's like, are you just trying to get people out as fast as you can? Here's one question that I have. Are these people getting paid well? Are the stylists actually properly getting compensated for their work, or is Chrissy taking advantage of this? Sorry, I have to throw this out there because if we are charging $4,000, I must know if their people are comfortable and properly paid, or if they're just getting screwed over and she's taking a lot of it.
Having a curler, just like pulling your hair. Overall, I really love my hair, and I just wanted to be honest with you guys because I've never seen someone do a video like this. It's definitely a very like hot topic right now about like hair by Chrissy. I've been seeing it all over my page. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my honest opinion, and bye guys.
Okay, so that was her honest review about her experience. I think we all know that a lot of people just don't have $4,000 to just throw around to go get their hair done. I also don't want people to automatically assume though that all the influencers that go to Hair by Chrissy are just lying, because they may genuinely be getting a really good experience, but because they're TikTokers, right? And people who are paying their hard-earned money or have no fame, for example, influencers can also be spending their own money. But for those who are paying their hard-earned money and who have zero influence or actual like connections or whatever that may be, they may get a very different experience. And that's something that we should be talking about, because why in the hell would anyone who does have money want to go and spend it there if they're going to get some subpar service? And I'm really happy that she doesn't like absolutely hate her hair, but that doesn't excuse the fact this is an overall trend. And I do not believe that people of influence should automatically put up on a pedestal and treated significantly better simply because of that. I think it's fucking ridiculous. I think your value should be actually held in how you treat everyone, not just the people who have millions of followers on TikTok. So this entire video blew up on social media, okay, to the point of where Chrissy, who is I think 50, I believe, who should AKA know better, started to respond to her. You get to tell who they are by how they respond to a problem. If they are out of their way to be apologetic, trying to fix it, being professional, having some self-control, right? I at least will give grace for that. But that is not what I think happened remotely, because she starts posting sideways jabs at this creator. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. This is not a Disney Channel movie. This is not, you're not a middle schooler. You're a business owner, Chrissy. Pull your head 2 inches out of your ass and behave like one.
Hi, I just wanted to address this comment because I feel like this is something a lot of people are saying in my comments, and I agree. If you love a hair salon and it's working for you, stick with it. But for me, what was portrayed online was it was hair by Chrissy, and Chrissy does your hair and sits you down and does a consultation and holds the extensions up and all these like cute, cool things, but I feel like I didn't get to experience that.
Actually, I'm so glad that she mentioned that. I want to really quickly pull out the idea of like marketing and false advertising, because I do think that some businesses have to make sure that when they're advertising a product or service, that they're as transparent as possible with it from their own experiences or what they actually have to offer. Because for example, there are companies that will get sued because they are not properly representing their product. So for example, when we see like, I don't know, let's say like a Cheez-Its, okay, and they're like, hey, this is not the actual size of the Cheez-It. They're trying to make it clear that an average everyday individual would not automatically assume, according to the marketing and product or packaging, something that is incorrect about it, right? And so when you see videos that are like this, for example, where Chrissy is doing a very specific one-on-one consult and experience with these influencers, majority of the average everyday regular consumers are going to go, oh, I'm going to go to Chrissy. It is titled Hair by Chrissy. Yes, it's the Habit Salon, but with how this is being marketed off, it makes absolute sense why someone would assume. They would assume the price tag is connected to her skill. They would assume that they're getting a proper consultation with just her. They're assuming that it's a little bit more personal and a luxury experience, like they are witnessing the marketing for said service. If somebody is not getting that, that could potentially fall under the guises of false advertising, and also just fucking stupid.
And maybe it was because I wasn't famous or whatever. I do agree that she works at a lot of salons and has a lot of assistants, but that wasn't something that was really like portrayed online about how it was. So I was okay with paying the price of Chrissy doing my hair. Does that make sense? So when you say like if you can't afford the price, then don't go. It wasn't about me not being able to afford it, because I would have never have agreed to getting the new extensions in the first place. Me agreeing to that was for Chrissy to do my hair, for Chrissy to give me my dream hair that I've always wanted. So no, I won't be going back, because I felt like it wasn't fulfilled to what she told me. It wasn't what is portrayed online, and that's okay. And I'm glad that you love it, and if other people love it, I'm not telling you to not go there. I'm just wanting to give my honest review, because I know people like that and want to hear what's actually going on. And Hair by Chrissy is booming on TikTok. Everyone is watching it. So I just wanted to put out there what my experience was.
And exactly, she has every right to do that. And if there is a charge for Chrissy's services that's pushing $3,000 on a receipt, to me, in my opinion, that's pretty damn obvious that it's trying to show, well, this is the service. Like, you see what I'm saying? The marketing and the way that things are being displayed is not giving the vibe that you're not going to be working with Chrissy by any means. And this is one of the response videos that Chrissy made to her. The fact that this is being treated so casually and not like an actual serious thing by her is killing me.
Okay, I decided to make a part 3, so let's get into it. Yes, Chrissy does hair. Yes, Chrissy cuts hair. Yes, Chrissy curls hair. The problem is, she does one curl and walks away. The problem is she does one cut, walks away. In the video, you can literally see it. Like, you can literally see it. So I'm going to explain step by step of what Chrissy did, because it's making me mad now. It's actually making me mad, and I never wanted to make part 3. I just want to be done with it. But listen, okay? So I walked in there. Obviously, she was like, all right, those extensions, no. And then they brought out the new extensions. She never like held them up or anything, how they do in like all those like famous people's videos, which whatever. But then when they were coloring my hair, I think she stopped by. She did something in the front. She did one foil, walked away. So we're probably at 20 seconds now. And then I think she came back for a part in the back. She did something in the back for like 10 seconds. So that's 30 seconds now. And then I went over to the bowl, they washed me out, and she came over, said, use N4 or something, a toner or something, walked away, so that's 35 seconds probably. Then they were like, she came over, looked at my color, was like, looks good or something, then walked away. But she's not actually like doing anything, she's just like telling everyone what to do, and she's not actually doing it. I don't know why I feel the need to explain myself, but yeah. Then I will say she cut all of my hair, but it was like 15 seconds. Like, she was like, oh, how do you want your hair cut? She put everything in the front, and then she cut it like that, and then she walked away and said, curl her up. She never curled my hair. She didn't style it. I was never asked, how do you want your hairstyle?
Okay, from what I know about this, whether you guys agree with somebody spending $4,000 on your hair or not, that is not a luxury service. Being so treated so casually like that, that is not something that anyone should be paying for, period. Nor should they be receiving that kind of treatment if they're paying $4,000. That's like going and wanting to get on a first class flight, and they're just like, whatever. They're treating you like shit. They don't acknowledge you, throwing the fucking peanut bag at your head. Okay, like they just don't give a shit. This is the problem, is the, in my opinion, false advertising and the mistreating people who are not famous TikTokers. And this shit makes me angry. This is stuff that makes people have a problem with the industry. This is stuff that turns people away from actual legit businesses. And I cannot fathom sitting and trying to be a business owner and a successful one at that, and you want to treat other people differently than your famous customers. You're fucking goofy for that. You are. There's literally no way I can get behind this.
Okay guys, so this has been like a hot topic about like suing, and like there's been a lot of videos of people reaching out to lawyers and different things, and a lot of people are asking if I signed any consent to be posted, if I signed anything saying that Chrissy wouldn't be doing my hair, or any of those weird agreements that Chrissy's been posting, and the answer to that is no. I never signed for her to use my photos, my videos, nothing like that. I never signed any agreements, any fine print. I was never even sent any fine print. It wasn't even on the part where you put the deposit. I put a deposit down of $895, and there was nothing to sign. Literally, like, all I had to do was send her assistant the screenshot of the deposit. So
to answer everyone's questions. I didn't sign anything, and now I'm actually genuinely considering suing because not only is she publicly bullying me and using my photos and videos in a place where I don't want my photos and videos to be used, and not only is she bullying me, but like everyone in the comments can see how disappointed I was after and how confident I was before. Like, she's just using my video at this point to like attack me and like she's put me in such a vulnerable position. And I literally just got out of surgery yesterday. Like, this is not the time. So I'm starting to get more upset as people are like figuring and catching on to these things, because this was never my plan at the beginning, but now I'm upset.
This is really pissing me off, and something that I have a serious fucking issue with when it comes to companies is, again, how they respond to bad reviews. Every person is entitled to give a review, whether it is good or bad. And that is something that as a business owner, you're gonna have to expect. You cannot physically, in your right mind, in your noggin, expect 100% A+ on everything, 5-star reviews. There's nothing that can be done about that. It just happens, right? For business owners, you're not allowed to just retaliate and go and attack somebody or harass them for giving a review that you don't like. And to me, being a grown-ass woman that's like my mom's age or older, harassing and bothering someone, utilizing photos without their consent, bothering her over this and bothering her over her review, that is weird. You honestly should have reached out to her. You should have tried to clarify things, because then that would have actually gone farther. And honestly, this creator sounds like a reasonable individual that would be like, oh, hey, like, I did like my hair to this extent. I'm just unhappy with the way that this was going on, because again, you spend luxury money, you deserve a luxury service. And instead of being a professional individual, you go, oh, I'm just going to post up a bunch of shit and bother her. What the fuck? Like, she's so weird for that. So as you keep scrolling with some of these videos though, this has been going on for quite some time, and this essentially developed like a movement. A lot of people started talking about their experiences with Chrissy, their experiences working there, and so much more. When influencers are admitting now that Chrissy does their hair for free in exchange for content and wouldn't ever pay $4K themselves. Wow. And then after Chrissy posted up those videos showing off her hair and pretty much mocking the creator, she then ends up deleting it, turning her comments off, which, yeah, no shit, why the f would you do that in response with your business? Then the original creator says, suddenly Chrissy turned her comments off and deleted the videos mocking me. So with all that being said though, now I want to actually move into other people's experiences with Hair by Chrissy. Let's get into the first one.
Sharing my story about when I quit working at Habit Salon. Okay, so like I said in the last few videos, I worked at Habit for almost 4 years. It was like 3.5-ish. I started working there in 2017 and left in July of 2020. Now, as I stated before, it was an amazing place, I think, for me to start my career, and I did learn a lot from Chrissy. It was honestly an amazing experience getting to work with her, watch her work, travel with her, and do all of that. Honestly, at the time, it was like an amazing experience, and I do feel like things were very different back then. So I just want to preface with that. Now, when I was working there, I worked very closely with Chrissy. I would do a lot of her extensions for a lot of her influencers or like top clients, I guess you could say. And there was always like some sort of like underlying drama that was always going on there, but I always tried to stay out of it and just stay positive, because I did, at the end of the day, love where I worked. However, once 2020 came around, there was just kind of like the whole scandal. I'm not even sure what it was, but it ended up being the crispy hair, and I had left right before that started to come out. But the point of this video is my story about when I left, so those are topics for another time. So when I was leaving, I had called an exit meeting with Chrissy and her husband, Rich, because they were basically who I felt the need to call to the meeting. Only Rich showed up. I should have known that was going to happen. But basically, he obviously knew that I was going to quit. It was on July 11th. It was a Saturday, and I remember it well because I was thinking to myself, I'm going to do it on a Saturday because they're not going to be reaching out to my clients on a Sunday. because I had a feeling that they were gonna be doing something suspicious, so I wanted to just cover my tracks. So basically that Saturday, I went to my meeting with Rich. I basically said, you know, thank you for everything. I really appreciate it. Unfortunately, like, it's just my time to go. I'm ready to do my own thing because Habit Salon is a commission salon and they pay you on a scale percentage-wise based on how much you make. I can go into that if you want me to.
Oh, commission sale on how much. Okay, so again, I'm very interested in what kind of scale that would be, because if you're charging crazy expensive prices, then you should be able to pay people quite well considering that. So I'm interested to know if they were paid fairly, because then that's a whole other can of worms I think we need to talk about. I think this entire situation is just exposing a very toxic ass business. And this is really disappointing because, again, like, no one wants to have a problem with a business like this. People love getting their hair done. This is something that people enjoy. So when a luxury surface or a trending brand gets aired out for being shitty, yeah, this is very disappointing. And also this highlights other issues in the industry, which I want to talk about later. And like, hair shouldn't be so damn negative.
At least, again, this is at the time. Things are probably like pretty different now. I don't know. But anyways, things were great. I got my stuff and I was ready to go. So my drive at the time was about 35 minutes away from the salon. And basically when I got home, I asked Rich, like, do you think it'd be appropriate for me to reach out to Chrissy, because I do want to thank her for everything she's done for me, because I really do appreciate her. I do love her, and I think that it would be the right thing to do on my end to just reach out and say my piece to her, because I felt odd leaving and just like never talking to her again. It just felt weird. But by the time I was home, 35-minute drive, I realized that I was blocked out of the booking system. I was removed from the group chat with all the stylists, and Chrissy and her entire family had unfollowed me on all platforms of social media. So I just was kind of like, that sucks, but I ended up texting Chrissy anyway.
Oh, so this is just a mean girl, someone who peaked in high school, mean girl shit, finally got successful and famous, and this is what we're dealing with. That is pathetic. Oh my God, I will say I had a boss like that at one point, and it was fucking ridiculous, but like, this is so sad, and this is exactly why businesses need to get their shit together, because if you fuck up, other people then are gonna feel empowered to come up and out and say, look, this is my experience with you too. Clearly other people can relate to me on this, so I'm gonna tell my story because you aren't a good person, business owner, etc. Oh my God, like, why? I cannot fathom being this shitty.
And just, saying, again, thank you for everything. I enjoyed my time working for you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, like this, that, and the other. I never got a response, but whatever, that is what it is. The part that really hurt my feelings was when Monday rolled around and they had their front desk girl at the time call all of my clients that were on my books and offered them 50% off their service if they would stay and get their hair done at Habit. Which at the time when I was branching out on my own, this was just a super daunting feeling, because it was like I was already scared to branch out on my own. I moved about 30 minutes north of where they were at. I'm in Scottsdale, they're in Gilbert. And so I just was freaking out, because it was like, I'm trying to spread my wings and fly, and you guys are doing everything in your power to pluck my little feathers. I'm happy to report, though, that all of my clients did stay with me, 100% of them, and I truly do feel like I've built my business based on very great relationships, and I have amazing relationships with all of my clients, and I try to stay peaceful for the most part as much as I can. And I've never spoken about this because I didn't feel it necessary, but with all the scandals going on, I just feel like it was a good time to share my experience. And if you are working in a toxic environment, or you're somewhere because you think that you will amount to nothing on your own, I'm here to tell you that you will succeed and you will do amazing and you will be so much happier.
Exactly, and she's completely correct on that. So there is an example of not just somebody who was a client, but somebody who actually worked there and has bad fucking experiences with this. Next up, let's look at somebody else's bad experience with Chrissy.
I got my hair done by Hair by Chrissy about a year and a half ago, and I want to tell you about my experience. I know my experience is different than a lot of people that go because I didn't get extensions, and that's what she is known for. I just got my bob trimmed and colored. I don't like talking bad about people or bashing their brand by any means. So I'm not doing that. I'm literally just sharing my perspective. So $4,000, insane. 60 seconds, absurd. It wasn't me going out of my way to, you know, find services in exchange for content. Like, she reached out to me and was like, I want to do your hair, I want to do your bob. I'm like, okay, I'll come in. So I got there at like 9 a.m. and I didn't end up leaving until like 4:30. Like, I was there all day, and when I tell you, I was exhausted.
For a bob? I don't have time for that. That would piss me off. A bob. The fact that she has an audacity. So we have now another example of someone who has reached out to go to the salon and still was there all damn day for a bob. Get her out of here. Enough.
I'm not supposed to feel exhausted leaving us. Like, I was so burnt out, and I will tell you why. So obviously I knew that there was content that was going to be happening. Like, of course, like, I'm so down to make content. I love doing that with brands and people and all that. But the thing about this was I've got my hair done at a lot of places where I've done content, and it's never like this. Like, this experience was very like in your face, like nonstop, like camera over here, camera over here. You don't really have a say in what you do. You just have to like follow what they want, which I get. But at the end of the day, like, it was a lot. It was like 2 hours of content. Like, it.
Ooh, okay. Oh, okay. I do not like this. So I think this situation is exposing a deeper issue. I think this is also exposing really sketchy thing towards some of these influencers. Because, okay, I don't know if y'all know this. For some personal content, depending on what that is, you could ask, depending on your platform, a pretty high amount of money. Again, that's going to really, really vary on your engagement, your platform, etc. So it makes sense for Chrissy to offer a free service in exchange for content, because the free service would technically be significantly cheaper than actually paying an influencer for that. It is really slimy if they did not have any consent forms or anything to properly map this out, no contract, no nothing, because that's when we get into a gray area here. If the original creator that talked about this entire situation said that there was no consent forms, release forms, anything like that to properly map this out, and then this content creator is like, yeah, no, this was kind of all up in my face, I didn't expect to have this much, that means they're also utilizing certain content creators for free press and taking advantage of it. So this is an all-around predatory salon, in my opinion.
It was nonstop, and I'm not gonna like shit on it because that's her thing, that's her brand. People want to go get it done. I didn't have to go. I'm just saying, from my experience, it was kind of overkill of content. Like, I was expecting like 2-3 videos. It was a lot of videos. Then the one thing I will say that kind of was weird to me, the one thing is at the end when I was done with my hair, I was about to leave, and then she was like, oh, can you sit right here and, you know, try one of my gummies and promote my gummies, and then promote this hair product, rub it in your hand and put it in your hair. And I had to do all these things, like, so now it was turning into like a brand deal for her brand, and I was like, whoa.
Oh, this is fucked up. Okay, so I want to tell y'all something. This is another reason why I think this salon needs to be aired out. They are sitting here now trying to put people into a peer pressure position and say, oh, hey, since you're here, talk about this, do this. Now, I'm going to be honest, I do think that content creators absolutely need to make sure that they are assertive and do the best that they can to protect their brand and their business. But that doesn't change the fact that some people are human and are going to struggle to advocate for themselves in this position. And also some people may feel bad and be like, fuck, like, you did a service for me for free. You know, I understand that. This is gross as hell. So you're charging out the ass for services. You're trying to get people to market off products for you for free, which you probably should be paying for. You're not mapping out disclaimers, contracts, etc. thoroughly from what I'm hearing. You're also doing a shit ass job when people are having awful experiences like fried hair and whatnot. And the fact that they are still well known and people go to them is baffling to me.
I thought I was just getting my hair done, make content and go, but it was like, now eat this gummy and now put this serum in your hair, do all of this and act like you love it. I was just like, okay. My hair ended up looking good. I mean, it's really hard to mess up a blonde bob. Like, she just literally had to trim it. It wasn't much to do. So that's where I was like, why was I there for like 8-9 hours when I had my hair to like here and she had to just trim it, and my hair like looked like this before and then after it looked like, so it was just like, I get like 9 hours for like extensions, but I was there all day. Like, I just want to share my experience because I see a lot of people sharing their experiences. So I haven't seen anyone share their experience who don't have extensions, so I thought I would be the one to the one to do it. So
I'm about to get my hair done by Hair by Chrissy, and I've been seeing like all over TikTok that like she doesn't really take care of like non-influencers, so I'm pretty nervous. And I had already paid for my appointment like back in August, I think it was. August or July, like I paid for it for like a while. So my appointment's really soon. I'm super nervous. I really hope that she doesn't treat me bad, and I hope she actually does my hair, because it was $895 just to like touch up my roots and like just not to change the color. I still want the same color, but I just wanted like a touch up, you know. Hey, so I got my hair done by Chrissy. Well, not really Chrissy, more like her assistants. And honestly, the experience was not, like, I wouldn't say terrible, but like, it was just long. And I mean, yeah, I can get, okay, so the username Not Famous, who was saying like Chrissy doesn't do hair, she didn't even touch her hair, like barely touched her hair, and she was like mostly taking care of like influencers. I kind of felt that vibe, but there wasn't really influencers like during my appointment time, besides probably one, because like I saw she was being treated differently, because like Chrissy was saying like to her assistant like, oh, can you do her makeup? And they thought she wanted them to do my makeup, and then she said, oh no, the other lady, which is the influencer, and I think she knows her too. And then she was also getting food from them and drinks from them, when none of us in that salon was offered any beverage or food or nothing. And I even asked like, oh, do you guys have coffee or tea? Because like I was literally falling asleep during my appointment because it was like 3 hours long. No, they said, oh, there's a coffee shop like walking distance. Yeah, so I can see that she just doesn't even offer anything, which is crazy. Like, you should at least offer something to your like customers, you know what I mean? And like, they didn't even offer water. Well, at the very end of my appointment, actually not even at the end of the appointment, like when my appointment was over, like the man in the salon, I think he was like working on something. Like, he doesn't work in the salon, but I think he was like doing construction there or something. I don't know what he was doing, but like he was the one offering water. Not an assistant, not Chrissy, he was. So I don't know. I just feel like it's just weird. And also, they only have one bathroom in the salon. And I thought the salon was gonna look really nice. It's like so basic. Like, you pay so much for such a basic looking salon. Like, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't like amazing. It was like mid, you know? Like, my hair literally costed $895. So basically $900 just for a hair color.
Hard. Oh God. I just feel like I have so many words and it's hard. I'm not going to talk about the drama of everything that I've seen. I'm just going to speak on my experience. Because again, I'm not trying to get long-awaited story time. I've been thinking about how to go about this. Some background. My name is Amelia. I am not a hairstylist. I got the job working with the Habit Education and Haircation, which is their online education platform teaching stylists about extensions, hair coloring, yada, yada, yada. I came in as social media and customer service initially. Worked with the tech guy. I worked with Rich's right-hand man. I guess Rich and Chrissy's right-hand man. And 2 stylists. And the job required me to work a little bit behind the scenes. A lot of it was next to Chrissy and overseeing like the education and stuff that they would put out onto the platform, and help them put on the classes. I would do all of the logistics, the setting up with my 2 coworkers. I worked with them from 2020 to the end of 2022, where I was let go without cause. Now let me back up and explain that in the 2.5 years that I worked for this company, I gave my heart and soul to them. I worked my ass off. I did a great job, helped growing their Instagram platforms, helped growing their online education services, traveled with them to Miami to do classes, etc. But I worked with this salon at the height of a pandemic. And if you remember their first reason why they got canceled in the midst of the pandemic, you can only imagine how it went throughout the years. You can look it up. Anyway, for 2.5 years, I busted my ass. I worked well with them. I did everything. I made no mistakes. I adapted. I wore many hats in the position that I was initially hired on for. At some point, feel like you are family with these people, or they had made me feel like that. They did take care of you, you know, like when you were working with them and you were on their good sides, I would say. They took care of you. They made you feel like family. My first year working with them, Chrissy bought me a YSL bag for Christmas one year. That was our gift, our Christmas bonus. So it's like, you know, when you were there, they treated you for the most part well. As soon as you weren't, you were completely off their radar. It didn't matter what you did or how you worked for them for 2.5 years. Midst of the 2 years working with them, my mom got diagnosed with cancer and I tragically lost my sister-in-law. And it was a horrific time in my life. And through that, I continued to work despite some of the most difficult, challenging times in my life. On the back end of things, I always saw the drama like a fly on the wall. You know, like I would hear from the stylist what was going on. I saw Chrissy and her minions in action, if that's what people are calling them. It really was cutthroat. You had to be on people's good side in order to excel in your position there. And if you weren't, you would not assist her. You would be knocked down, basically, etc. Let me just leave it at that before I go into any more detail and I get Also, there was some stuff, and I got to see all that because I worked with 2 stylists, but I also did not work in the physical salon. So like I saw the overarching theme while working, you know, side by side with these people. Back to my experience, because again, I really just kind of want to touch on that. I have bit my tongue for 3 years about this. Never said anything. I kept quiet, although I felt I was mistreated completely in this situation. I never said anything. But over the years where she and the salon have been canceled before, this is not the first time, you guys, if you've been on TikTok, you know that this is not the first time that she's been canceled, or they have been canceled. Let's go to November of 2022, early November, I'd say. So we frequently had meetings at their home, being in Rich and Chrissy's home with my coworker. Both coworkers, and I had brought to them how, you know, I had taken on so many different roles in the last 6 months that I initially didn't get hired to do, but was like excited to do and wanted to, if like for growth for my own career. And I expressed all of these to them and was just like, I just feel like if this is how it's going to be, that I would like to be compensated for it. And so I essentially had asked for a raise, and they were like, yeah, we got you, no problem. We see how hard you work and have been working for the last 2.5 years. Like, we want to keep you around, you're family to us. And so, you know, like I'm sitting at their dinner table, like, oh my gosh, like this went great. Like, you know, I expressed how I had been feeling and like how I want to continue to grow with the company and career with them, whatever. All for them to say that they were going to give me a promotion, they were going to give me a title change, they were going to give me these great things that like I had come in being like, this is what I want. All for, mind you, midst of a pandemic, right before the holiday season. 12 hours later, 12 hours, no less than, to call me after gassing me up in their home and say that they don't need me anymore. They're done. I remember the phone call clear as day because I have never, ever in my life been fired, let go, whatever, from a job ever before. And being on the phone with Rich and asking, am I being punked? Because how 12 hours prior are you telling me that I'm going to get a raise, I'm getting a promotion, I'm getting a title change, you see me in this company for the future, whatever. What changed in 12 hours? There was no reason. There was no causation. I had never gotten in trouble before. I had never made a mistake. So it's like it sends you into a spiral. I was so devastated right before the holidays, not knowing what to do, that I'm like, the least you could do is let somebody go and tell them what to work on. Or I don't know. After pouring your heart and soul into a company for 2.5 years, the least somebody can fucking say or do is like tell you why and wish you well. Not fight you down the line before the holidays on filing for unemployment. I went to file for unemployment because what the hell am I supposed to do? It's right before Thanksgiving and Christmas. And the lady at the unemployment office said allegedly that your employer is saying that you left on your own. And that's when I was like, oh, we're done here. Yeah, I was never family. All this to say is that it was the biggest blessing in disguise. Through this, since 2018, I had been running my food page primarily on Instagram as a hobby. The last 6 months working for Habit, I finally was starting to make some money off of it, and them firing me was the best thing that's ever happened to me because I now am a full-time content creator being fired for no goddamn reason. I made this video on Instagram as if you're in a toxic work environment, to be gone and to be free of it and to do whatever you want. And that's when I got unfollowed and basically blocked from this girl, which is fine. I've heard from my past people that I used to work with that as soon as you're not with them or on their side, you're dead to them. And that's exactly what it was.
I got my hair done at Hair by Chrissy. I never wanted to make a post about it because I feel like I didn't have anything positive to say about it. It was just a very regular salon experience, whereas I was expecting a $900 highlight hair experience. I thought paying the $900 to get highlights was to get my hair done by Chrissy. Her assistants are literally like a year of experience, some of them. And I know that because I was asking them, how long have you been doing hair? Don't get me wrong, I understand that Hair by Chrissy probably has built her empire, but I think there just needs to be a little bit more transparency about who's doing our hair, especially because when I had talked to the assistant on the phone and then through our text messages, I was led to believe that Chrissy was the one doing my hair. I wanted Chrissy to completely transform my hair from anything that I'd done before. I was a newly postpartum mom. I'm also pregnant again, but I wanted to completely change my hair. I was just looking to do some change, especially being a postpartum mom. All the mamas out there know, like, you just want something different. So instead of that transformation that I was thinking I was gonna get, I walked into a salon that felt very cliquey, kind of like high school. I didn't love the energy there. I'm really sensitive to energy. It was like an assembly line. I walked in and I feel like everyone was looking at me like, okay, so who are you again? Like, what are you doing? And they were just kind of like, go over here, just do this. And it was honestly kind of weird. It was so crowded in the salon. I was there at 8 a.m. It was just basically an assembly line. Chrissy came over for 2 seconds. She basically was like, let's just do what you've been doing. I was so disappointed. All I wanted was a transformation, especially for $900. I told myself I would never pay $900 just for highlights unless it was with someone that truly was a master of the craft, was gonna transform my hair. And unfortunately, that's not what happened because she worked on my hair for maybe 60 seconds. That was just for a trim. I honestly was so excited to go here. I was excited to have a fun experience. It looked so fun from all the videos I saw online, and honestly, it was so disappointing. And I feel so bad for people that literally save up the whole year. The girl that was sitting next to me talked about how she saved up all of her savings just to get her hair done here. Maybe it was a fun experience. Maybe that's just what she wants to do. But honestly, just go get your hair done at a normal salon, because this is a normal salon experience. I understand Chrissy charging her prices, like she has built a career and everything, but if she's not the one doing the hair, I just don't understand the high price. Also, she came over and trimmed my hair for maybe 30 seconds. It was more like a dust. I never get my hair cut. I usually just get a trim. She wanted to charge me $600 for that. I have gotten my hair done at Jay-Z Stylist Salon for the last 8 years that I was in Utah. They never charged me for a trim, so I was truly not used to being charged for a haircut, let alone $600. I normally don't post content like this, but I just was really bothered, and maybe it's me being very pregnant right now. I just feel like really upset about the negative treatment of this girl, but I hope we can all do better.
Okay, so this is just a little bit of the plethora of content that I saw on TikTok that we're talking about negative experiences with hair by Chrissy. And now I have a lot of things that I want to specifically mention when it comes to this topic, because again, like I said, this is definitely deeper than just a bad experience here. One I also want to say is we really need to remember when we're getting beauty services done, when we're looking at someone, just because somebody has good content on social media does not equate to them being a good person, a good business owner, etc. So just be careful and keep that in mind, because sometimes, and this is very understandable, when people have really good marketing, sometimes people are going to be like, well, they have really pretty things, they have a lot of influencers, that's the best option. When in reality, it may actually not be the best option for you. Now, please don't ever think that I'm trying to say like, if they have the aesthetic and good shit, they suck. No. I'm just saying, just because they look cookie cutter perfect on TikTok does not mean a good service or a valuable one. Second of all, I am never gonna want to encourage someone to be actually spending $4 grand on hair. And if so, there better be a very clear mapped out reason as to why you're charging that much. Now, why I personally am thinking that Hair by Chrissy is, and again, this is my opinion, a big old scam. I don't think it's 100% big time illegal, but I do think it's very predatory and scammy, is because we are, again, doing the thing where we're labeling this as luxury when I don't actually believe that it's luxury. This is the same conversation that I'm actually going to have in another video that's coming up, where people will put the label of luxury onto a service while not actually offering luxury services. They charge a luxury price for that's for damn sure, but they're not actually offering something of significance. And it's incredibly predatory to take advantage of people that you try and make a deal with for free in exchange for content and still take advantage of them. And it's also absolutely predatory when you create a luxury service and salon. Meanwhile, you are also not treating people who pay for your services with respect and offering exactly what you market off to them. And I don't believe that their marketing is doing good enough when it comes to expectation management, being able to show this is exactly what to expect. Are they truly honest and clear with their expectations and how they're marketing out their stuff? Because to me, this doesn't feel like they're being very transparent. I think they're focused more on getting the most popular TikToker in their salon for content versus actually providing a quality service. And I do believe that this is another example of a salon that is highly upselling. I mean, for sake, like truly, did you cut off the tail of a unicorn for those extensions? I don't think you did. So therefore, there is no way in fresh hell they should be costing that much. They just shouldn't. There should be no way in hell that you're holding someone hostage for a damn bob. Okay? There should be no reason to be charging practically the full bottle of a product when you didn't use the full bottle of a product. Another thing I want to point out is the fact that if you have so many and a multitude of assistants working on your hair, then why the hell are you being charged crazy amounts? I would assume, from what I know when it comes to salon work, that if I'm looking for a specific person, right? And if I want to go get my hair done, which actually I'm considering going in finally, I'm a cheap bitch, considering finally going in and getting my hair done. But when I'm looking at that, usually salons have things that are like tiers of, oh, if you really want like the person who owns a salon, you're going to probably have to pay more. Oh, if you want to do this person or have someone maybe with less experience or whatever that might be, there's going to be different tiers of pricing, and it's going to look different compared to the most experienced versus the least experienced. So it blows my mind how you have such a crazy high charge for this said individual and you're not providing the absolute best of the best. And if you're charging $4 grand for what? How many actual paying customers are they get in comparison to influencers that are coming in? And truly, how is that going for them financially? Because if they're so focused on just getting influencers in for free, that's not exactly helping, I think, in my opinion, because if you don't have a realistic way of marketing off your content and actually finding a good balance with paying customers who genuinely like love you and are long-term clients versus people that are there for free, like you're not creating a lot of trust here. And especially when you have so many different catastrophes like this where people are coming out with fried hair and they weren't having their expectations met, like you're gonna tank your business. I think that people aren't just wanting to pay $4,000 to see Chrissy. I do think that there is also this unspoken idea that you could be featured on such a big platform. I mean, we see these influencers that are shown off on here. So naturally, if you're gonna book it, you're probably going, oh, okay, maybe I'll be shown, maybe I'll be tagged, maybe some people will come follow me and come find me. So there's this little bit of transaction here that you're kind of expecting. And I think that this is almost, what is it called? It's like a clout tax, quite frankly, on the regular people who are paying versus the influencers. This is such a predatory system. I cannot fathom running a business like this. And I'm all for paying for luxury if it's actually worth it. Like, don't get me wrong. There's some things that I'm saving up for and wanting to experience someday because I truly think it's worth the money. I hate it though if somebody is going to spend a lot of money and get a complete subpar service. And this is not just one person talking about it. This has been a span of years of people literally calling her hair by Crispy because of these awful stories and situations. So this is not just a random like, oh shit, our bad. And last thing I want to say is if you actually look up things when it comes to hair by Chrissy, you see a lot of shit rating all over BBB, for example. Like there's so many things that are unresolved in my opinion, all across even TikTok, for example, of customers who have been involved with Chrissy, people who have worked alongside her. And I think that's incredibly disappointing, especially for somebody who wants to have such a cool experience as it has been marketed off as. And one thing I will say when it comes to business owners, playing this idea of being unbothered and avoiding accountability is going to screw you in the long run. That is not something that's going to benefit anyone. And that other girl, if she wasn't able to get the service that she liked or someone could give her realistic expectations, then they should have never taken her money to begin with. And if you cannot provide a proper service or a realistic disclaimer of, hey, I'm going to get the best I can, I don't know if I can get exact, then you should not be taking anyone's money, nor should you be running a business. And this is another wonderful example of someone, in my opinion, who shouldn't be running a business, who should not be taking people's money, because there's those who are very hungry for success, but not hungry for the right reasons. And it's very sad because a lot of people get negatively impacted. But I think this is another very like toxic perspective of what the obsession with clout and growth and becoming like so well known that you will sacrifice your morals for it. And I think that's incredibly ridiculous. I think that she definitely deserves her money back. I think there should be an apology actually given. And I think Chrissy needs to really evaluate how she's actually handling her business, because like this is embarrassing and I cannot fathom how you're not embarrassed by your actions. So moral of the story, hair by Chrissy doesn't sound like the vibe. And be careful of salons who lean into the hyper social media stuff and not providing actual value and quality, because some people will focus more on a TikTok and attention over providing actual artistry and skill and luxury to you. And you know what? That small town artist of yours could be performing better than some of these other people who just want attention. Please just be protective of your hair. And also, girl, don't be spending $4,000 on your hair unless you're Beyonce. Don't be doing that shit. Damn. So that was it for today's video. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to check out the sponsor of today's video, the link in the description below. Anyways, I'm gonna go like brush my hair and be incredibly grateful that no one has fried this shit off. Okay, love you guys. Bye.